in just a bit.
Casey, thank you. We begin with continuing coverage out of Washington, D.C. this morning. Less than 24 hours after being diagnosed with coronavirus, President Trump is in the hospital. The commander-in-chief released a video on Twitter with an update on how he was feeling last night.
I think I'm doing very well, but we're going to make sure that things work out.
The White House says the visit to Walter Reed National Military Medical Center is out of an abundance of caution, though doctors say the president is experiencing mild symptoms and running a low-grade fever. The White House tweeted last night that the president is doing well and that he's not requiring any supplemental oxygen. They say he is fatigued and has been injected with an experimental antibody cocktail. At 74 and overweight, President Trump is considered at higher risk for serious complications. Overnight, we learned that President Trump's campaign manager, Bill Stepien, and Kellyanne Conway have tested positive for coronavirus. Conway was a White House counselor and left her post at the end of August. She says her symptoms are mild, only a light cough, and is apparently feeling fine. Stepien was at the presidential debate Tuesday and is reportedly experiencing mild flu-like symptoms. Stepien will work from home while Deputy Campaign Manager Justin Clark oversees re-election operations in Arlington, Virginia. The First Lady, Presidential Advisor Hope Hicks, and the Republican National Committee Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel have also tested positive this week. White House Correspondents Association announced 3 reporters have now tested positive for COVID. One of the reporters traveled to Pennsylvania on Sunday for a campaign rally. The other 2 attended a presidential briefing on Sunday at the Rose Garden ceremony announcing President Trump's Supreme Court nominee. The stunning revelation about the president's health raises concerns just 32 days before the election. Hearing about a president in the hospital creates anxiety for many Americans. Of course, being that the president is considered the leader of the free world, plans must be in place if by chance he can no longer carry out his duties. According to the 25th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, the president has the authority to write a letter to the Speaker of the House and President pro tem of the Senate to announce he's temporarily giving over power to the vice president. What happens in the case that the president doesn't hand over power, but the vice president and top cabinet officials don't find him in the condition to lead?
Then they can write the letter to Congress and have him removed and have the vice president step in. He has a disease that could be rather minor and could be really serious and could take his life. And so, yeah, we're all kind of up in the air. Nobody knows what to expect at this point.
It's worth noting the process in which power has been taken from the president has never been used before. In the meantime, just last Friday, President Trump held a rally featuring thousands in Newport News. The Virginia Department of Health's Peninsula District says it has not identified a connection between that rally and COVID-19 cases yet. But they say the incubation period is still ongoing, and they're continuing to closely monitor coronavirus cases in that district. Cleveland officials say 11 people got coronavirus from this week's presidential debate. The announcement comes after the Cleveland Clinic said there was a low risk of exposure. The city specifically said the 11 positive tests were traced to people involved in organizing the event. Moderator Chris Wallace said the first family violated a mandatory mask mandate while inside. Joe Biden revealed he's been cleared by 2 separate coronavirus tests as he decided to continue with a planned campaign trip to Western Michigan yesterday. Biden immediately offered his prayers for President Trump and his wife. The Democratic nominee never removed his mask while speaking outdoors. He said the moment calls for acknowledging the gravity of the virus.
We can get this pandemic under control so we can get our economy working again for everyone. But this cannot be a partisan moment. It must be an American moment. We have to come together as a nation.
He urged the need to take science seriously and said mask wearing is the most powerful public health tool available to Americans. And yesterday, the Biden campaign announced that they're pulling all negative ads in the heat of the election as President Trump battles coronavirus, adding the choice was made even before White House physicians decided to move President Trump to the hospital. Senator Thom Tillis from North Carolina says he's tested positive for coronavirus. Tillis attended the Supreme Court nomination ceremony for Amy Coney Barrett. The president, First Lady, Senator Mike Lee, and the president of Notre Dame have all tested positive. Tillis was wearing a mask at the ceremony. The Republican has no symptoms. We'll continue bringing you updates on Wavy.com and tonight on Wavy News 10 at 10 and 11. We have more details in the deadly crash out of Hampton. Virginia State Police say the suspect involved in the deadly crash has turned himself in. A grand jury indicted Khalik Newsom in the death of Robert Ham II. Ham was killed in a rollover crash in February on Interstate 64 at Mallory Street. Police say Newsom was going over 100 miles per hour when he lost control. Newsom told investigators Ham was the driver, but that turned out to be false. He faces charges of involuntary manslaughter. We also have new information in the case against a man charged in the death of a sailor. Nathaniel Campbell's trial is scheduled to begin November 23rd of this year. Investigators say Campbell was speeding more than 3 times the posted limit when he slammed into a Navy patrol car. This happened at JEB Little Creek Fort Story last November. 23-year-old Petty Officer Oscar Tamores was driving the security vehicle, and he died at the hospital. A judge sentenced a man for his role in the murder of a Navy sailor in Norfolk. Raymond Martin will serve 33 years for the death of Petty Officer Christopher Allen. Investigators arrested Martin 2 years after Allen's death on Waverly Way in 2016. Martin was charged with second-degree murder and several other crimes. A jury found another man not guilty in the case. The time is 7:08, and we have much more to get to this morning. Coming up, the spooky season is upon us, and the Portsmouth Pavilion wants families to join them for some Halloween fun. We have the details when we return.